Let's talk about space, shall we? Let me spin this UFO for all you. Hey, thanks everyone for tuning in. I really do appreciate all of you. The spin is for you. Thank you for sharing my videos, guys. Thank you all for all of that. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Please do. That really does help me grow. I hit 190,000 subscribers over the weekend. Thank you. Seriously, all of you guys are absolutely the best. All right, let's talk about a beautiful planet. Look at this thing. Look how beautiful this planet is. There's Neptune. Let me get that mouse out of the way. Look at that beautiful planet. That thing, excuse me. It's beautiful. Look at that. Got the beautiful Milky Way in the background there. Let's talk about Neptune for a little bit, shall we? This is from solarsystem.nasa.gov. Gotta love it. Cold, dark, and whipped by supersonic winds, ice giant Neptune is the 8th and most distant planet of our solar system. Whoa, 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 whoa. Excuse me. I think there's 9, and I still recognize Pluto. I'm just letting you all know. I grew up as Pluto being a planet, and then they tried to say that actually it's not a planet yet, blah, 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 blah. 9 planets. Pluto's a planet. Hashtag Pluto is a planet. Okay. More than 30 times as far from the sun as Earth, Neptune is the only planet in our solar system not visible to the naked eye. In 2011, Neptune completed its first 165-year orbit since its discovery in 1846. Neptune is so far from the sun that high noon on the big blue planet would seem like dim twilight to us. Warm light we see here on our home planet is roughly 900 times as bright as sunlight on Neptune. The ice giant Neptune was the first planet located through mathematical calculations. Using predictions made by Urbain Le Verrier, Johann Galle discovered the planet in 1846. The planet is named after the Roman god of sea, as suggested by Le Verrier. Let's see. Neptune's environment is not conducive to life as we know it. The temperatures, pressures, and materials that characterize this planet are most likely too extreme and volatile for organisms to adapt to. With a radius of 15,299 miles, Neptune is about 4 times wider than Earth. If Earth was the size of a nickel, Neptune would be about as big as a baseball. From an average distance of 2.8 billion miles, Neptune is 30 astronomical units away from the Sun. 1 astronomical unit is the distance from the Sun to the Earth. From this distance, it takes sunlight 4 hours to travel from the Sun to Neptune. Here's a nice 360 of the planet, which is kind of cool. Looks like a nice storm going on right there. Let's see what the southern pole. Ooh. All right, and another North Pole. Cool. Kind of boring, kind of boring. 1 day on Neptune takes about 16 hours. And Neptune makes a complete orbit around the Sun in about 165 Earth years. Sometimes Neptune is even further from the Sun than dwarf planet Pluto. They admit that it is a planet. It said dwarf planet. Haha, I caught you guys. Boom. Anyway, sorry. But that is interesting, though, that sometimes Neptune is further. So they're kind of playing like a dance. Anyway. Where was I here? Yeah, sometimes Neptune is even further from the Sun than dwarf planet Pluto. Pluto's highly eccentric, oval-shaped orbit brings it inside Neptune's orbit for a 20-year period every 248 Earth years. This switch, in which Pluto is closer to the Sun than Neptune, happened most recently from 1979 to 1999. Pluto can never crash into Neptune, though, because for every 3 laps Neptune takes around the Sun, Pluto makes 2. This repeating pattern prevents close approaches of the 2 bodies. Neptune's axis of rotation is tilted 28 degrees with respect to the plane of its orbit around the Sun, which is similar to the axis tilt of Mars and Earth. This means that Neptune experiences seasons just like we do on Earth. However, since its year is so long, each of the 4 seasons lasts over 40 years. Wouldn't that be nuts? It's It's kind of like Game of Thrones, where winter can last years on end, years and years, and then sometimes summer lasts for years and years and years. 40 years. Can you imagine? 40-year winters and then 40-year summers, or 40-year springs and then 40-year summers. That would be interesting, to say the least. So Neptune has 14 known moons. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, was discovered in October 10th, 1846 by William Lassell, just 17 days after John Gottfried Gale discovered the planet. Since Neptune was named after the Roman god of the sea, its moons are named for various lesser sea gods and nymphs in Greek mythology. Triton is the only large moon in the solar system that circles its planet in a direction opposite of the planet's rotation, a retrograde orbit, which suggests that it may once have been an independent object that Neptune captured. Triton is extremely cold, with surface temperatures around minus 390 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 235 degrees Celsius. And yet, despite this deep freeze at Triton, Voyager 2 discovered geysers spewing icy material upward more than 5 miles. Triton's thin atmosphere, also discovered by Voyager, has been detected from Earth several times since and is growing warmer, but scientists do not yet know why. The rings of Neptune are actually very cool to know that they do have rings. They're just not as prominent as Saturn's. Neptune has at least 5 main rings and 4 prominent ring arcs that we know of so far. Starting near the planet and moving outward, the main rings are named Gali, Levier, Lassell, Arago, and Adams. Ayo! And the rings are thought to be relatively young and short-lived. Neptune's ring system also has peculiar clumps of dust called arcs. 4 prominent arcs named Liberté, love it, Égalité, Fraternité, and Courage are in the outermost ring. Adams. I don't know. I really like that for some reason. I think you can guess, because my name's Adam. Anyway. The arcs are strange because the laws of motion would predict that they would spread out evenly rather than stay clumped together. Scientists now think the gravitational effects of Galatea, a moon just inward of the ring, stabilizes these arcs. Very, very cool. And then this shows all the different, distances and stuff of these. Neptune took shape when the rest of the solar system formed about 4.5 billion years ago, when gravity pulled swirls of gas and dust in and became this ice giant. Like its neighbor Uranus, Neptune likely formed closer to the sun and moved to the outer solar system around 4 billion years ago. Neptune is one of 2 icy giants in the outer solar system. The other is Uranus. Most 80% or more of the planet's mass is made up of hot, dense fluid of icy materials, water, methane, and ammonia, above a small rocky core. And of the giant planets, Neptune is the densest. Scientists think there might be an ocean of super hot water under Neptune's cold clouds. It does not boil away because the incredibly high pressure keeps it locked inside. Neptune does not have a solid surface. Its atmosphere, made up of mostly hydrogen, helium, and methane, extends to great depths, gradually merging into water and other melted ices over a heavier, solid core with about the same mass as Earth. Neptune's atmosphere is made up of mostly hydrogen and helium with just a little bit of methane. Neptune's neighbor Uranus is a blue-green color due to such atmospheric methane, but Neptune is a more vivid, brighter blue, so there must be an unknown component that causes the more intense color. Neptune is our solar system's windiest world. Despite its great distance and low energy input from the sun, Neptune's wind can be 3 times stronger than Jupiter's and 9 times stronger than Earth's. These winds whip clouds of frozen methane across the planet at speeds of more than 1,200 miles per hour, or 2,000 kilometers per hour. Even Earth's most powerful winds only hit about 250 miles an hour, or 400 kilometers. In 1989, a large oval-shaped storm in Neptune's southern hemisphere, dubbed the Great Dark Spot, was large enough to contain the entire Earth. The storm has since disappeared, and new ones have appeared on different spots of the planet. The main axis of Neptune's magnetosphere is tipped by over 47 degrees compared to the planet's rotation axis. Unlike Uranus, whose magnetic axis is tilted about 60 degrees from the axis of rotation, Neptune's magnetosphere undergoes wild variations during each rotation because of this misalignment. The magnetic field of Neptune is about 27 times more powerful than Earth's. That's crazy. So I wanted to look more into Neptune because I read this article today about how Neptune is actually, it's reached its opposition today, which means it is, so Earth is here. Say Earth, I actually have Earth here, but I can't show you. So Earth, this Earth is Neptune, and my fist here is us, right? Earth. And then over here is the sun. So what it means is it is on the furthest outside in a direct line. Right now we're in a direct line with Neptune. Neptune, Earth, and Sun, they are on opposite sides of the planet. So that's what being in opposition, and it reached it today. And it seems like you can actually observe it yourself. Here's where I got that beautiful picture of Neptune. The solar system's outermost planet, Neptune, reaches opposition today. Here's how you can catch a glimpse of the distant gas giant. Planet Neptune reached opposition today, September 14th, at around 5 a.m. I think this is, what's GME? Is that British time? I'm not actually sure what GME is. When Earth passed directly between the Sun and Neptune, according to skyearth.org. Opposition occurs when two astronomical objects, in this case the Sun and Neptune, are on opposite sides of the sky as seen from Earth. As this results in this cosmic alignment, Neptune will appear bigger and brighter in the sky than any other time of the year, though you'll still need a pair of binoculars or a small telescope to see it. During opposition, Neptune rises in the east as the sun sets in the west, offering skywatchers the best views after 9 p.m. local time. However, the planet will be visible, especially spectacular, throughout most of the night tonight, in front of the constellation Aquarius, reaching its highest point in the night sky around midnight local time. And here is, I actually have this blown up. So this is Neptune, and it's blown up. And this is Aquarius here. So if you can spot Aquarius, you can see that just underneath it, there will be a little dot, and that will be Neptune. So good luck if you are able to spot it yourself. I have a lot of trees. I'm next to a forest, so I'm just surrounded by trees. So I won't be able to see like the horizon line, but my goodness, do I see a lot of stars out here. And I am in the market for a telescope. I definitely want to get one. I've been looking at them, and they're kind of expensive, so I think I'm going to have to like save up for it. But I have a patio. I'm on the second floor where my office is, and I have a door right here that goes out to a patio on above my kitchen. And it's like the perfect place to look at the stars because it's a clear sky right above it, and it is just gorgeous. So I really am looking forward to that.